Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. I want you to enjoy what I'm about to share with you all. I'm sitting before Robert and Queen Woodard. This a fairy tale union right here because they met in prison. So without further ado, here is Robert and Queen. First thing I want to know is, how did y'all meet in prison?
It started off with a letter. I was running a type of ministry of my own inside, and my thing was I wasn't doing sex letters. I just wanted friends because my thing was we're all doing time, so let's do it together. Let's talk about your kids, your wives, your boyfriends, you know, whoever you need to talk about the system, but let's just do it together. And if I wasn't that type of pen pal, I would tell them, pass my letter on. Well, one of the guys that I had written was like, I'm looking for somebody 110, a red bone, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, darling, you're not looking for a person, you're looking for a flavor. Mm-hmm. And Rob got a hold of the letter. I'll tell him about what happened.
And I answered it.
And you answered it?
I answered the letter.
Well, why did you answer it?
I probably had, I don't know, 4 or 5 different pen pals. And I was looking for somebody new to write.
Okay.
And so the guy's name was Milt. He had the letter in his pocket. We were working in the laundry. And, you know, he's running around talking about, you know, man, I don't want to write her this, that, and the other, you know. And I said, well, give her to me. You know, kind of half joking, you know, just throwing it out there. And he's like, there you go. And so I answered the letter that was to him, but like it was to me. So she kind of opened my eyes to some things, lies that I was telling myself, lies that I was living, and believing. And I think that, you know, people in general do that. They deceive themselves, or they accept something, and it's not really that they're accepting it, it's that they have no choice but to deal with the situation. And they say, oh yeah, I'm cool with that. Okay. You know, and they're really not cool with it.
And I will call him out.
You know, and she'd call me out on it. And
I'll call him out. Pure and simple.
Okay. She wasn't trying to study my mess.
Okay.
And the fact that she would, you know, point it out, you know, and call it out for what it was and everything really intrigued me, because I'd never ever dealt with anyone that was like that.
Okay, well look at this. When you sent her the first letter, that first letter, did you expect to hear back from her?
No, not really.
Okay, so when you got the letter, how did that make you feel?
It was welcome. Okay.
I mean, let's back it up. You know how we mail call. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
You know, and when your name was called and got the letter.
Well, like I said, you know, I was writing 4 or 5 different people.
But this is new. This is whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, you said mail call, so I mean that could have been anything.
Okay. Yeah.
But amen. Yeah, that's true.
It was a letter from her, and well, like I said, she was refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Refreshing about him was, after he got over this, not trying to impress me, okay, let's tell the truth, you know, da-da-da-da. Then there's an openness became between us, and I wasn't used to that. And actually, he was like, I was like, I don't want to go back to where I was, okay? And he's like, well, I'm going to send you to my mother. And that blew me away, because I'm like, you're going to send me to my mother and you don't know me except for what's written on these pages. And come on, let's keep it real. Most pen pal relationships are lies. Lies,
basically,
games.
Yeah.
And
every once in a while, you'll run across one like yours. When you got out, and you finally realized, oh, okay, she's for real. You know, how did that make? Where was your mindset at that time? At that point?
I was shocked. I hadn't had anybody in my life that really, you know, had my interest at heart. That was, if a relationship is real, you know, it'll bear all things. You know, I mean, there's nothing that you can't go through that you can't overcome. Nothing. she slept in her car so she could, acquire the funds so she could get an apartment so she could get her son back from defects. When I first got out, and even now, it's difficult to find employment when you sit there and tell people that you've been to prison for armed robbery. Most businesses are cash businesses. You have to handle money during the transaction of the business on a day-to-day level, and people just, that's not the first person that they're thinking about putting in front of the cash register, somebody who has a history of, some kind of theft. But, talking about, adversity and overcoming adversity and, making things happen, I had some money, a little bit, and so I invested in selling donuts. I'd go and I'd buy fundraiser Krispy Kreme donuts, they do fundraisers, and at a reduced rate, and then I would go around to stores first thing in the morning and sell donuts. Mm-hmm. And I'd have 50 dozen donuts, mm-hmm. and I would double my money during the course of a day. And so I would do this, periodically, to generate money. So, I'd have some even though I didn't have a job. If you want it bad enough, if you really seriously want it, then you, and it doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be stealing or dealing drugs or anything. Even in the family situation, I got out and went to my mom's, mm-hmm. but my mom's not made out of money. She has bills and she works every day to pay her way.
You work.
Exactly.
That's right.
If you work like you want to do something, like you want to be something, people see that.
It's not pleasant, but I'm working.
You're working.
I'm working, and got a really great house, got a great wife, just got my first car in my name that I'm making payments for. Don't have great credit, but found somebody that'd work with us, financed it, even with what little bit of credit I, from being 22 years in prison. And the thing about it is that, no, the people ain't lined up at my door, to turn backflips, to help me out. That's true. But if you're real, if you really want to work, if you got good work ethic, when you get an opportunity, if you make the best of it, people will see that. Mm-hmm. People will give you a chance. People will take a chance with you. Get in a car. Mm-hmm. Renting a decent house. People will take those chances on you. But what are you going to do when you get those chances?
Right.
Are you going to play the people, or are you going to work with the people and do what you're supposed to do?
You got to want it.
And you can't be too proud. Today, I got called in and was washing dishes. And it's hot, it's dirty, you get wet.
You two are not the only interracial couple out there that's been in prison. You're not the only ones that been to prison. So it's people out there that, even the people that has been to prison, they need to hear y'all story.
And see what someone else needs to know. Rob was at his mom, and he blows off like, his mama would do anything for him, okay? Like most, because, for one, it's her baby. Mm-hmm. He's just come back out. Well, I went up there one weekend, and I think my goal was to show Rob, I told you I'm not like anybody else, and I want to show you.
Was it the first week?
The first
time you
the first time I ever came.
Oh, I was totally blown away. Totally blown away. She said she was coming straight there, and she was actually in town already. I was talking to her. She's like, yeah, traffic this, traffic that. I'm still on the interstate, but she was actually in town already, and had rented the room, had flower petals all around the room.
Strawberries in big glasses.
Food. She knew that I liked strawberries, so she had strawberries. Just whatever it was that I liked, she had it, and she just really showed me that I mattered to her.
Rob's still going through just with my health, but he's still here, and he'll tell me, "You're my girl. You're my best friend," and what kind of husband would I be if I ran out on you because you might look real ugly when you go into a seizure, or there are days where he's had to literally put me in the tub, bathe me, and then put me to bed.
Help her to the bathroom.
There's days where we'll be out and I'll be perfectly fine, and my legs will go out, and he'll have to literally get me out the car, or if we go on Walmart or something to go shopping, he is my crutch.
Now, at the time you had the seizure in the car.
Oh man, I mean, there was a time where we had been having a great day, a great family day, and I went to a seizure in the car. So he has to pull over and deal with the seizure and then get me home and deal with me because I peed on myself, I messed on myself, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and as a woman, that's a hard thing to deal with, to let your significant other or your child, because Darian has had to deal with my seizures and everything. Hell, before I got married, it was a point where Darian was supporting us because I may have made it to work maybe 1 or 2 days a week. And if I made it through a full shift, hey, we had a great day. That boy was working 40 to 60 hours a week. He'd take his studies up there. His grades never dropped. He graduated as an honor grad, top of his class.
That's her youngest son, Darian.
I brag on him all the time. And
he's more mature than us some days.
he has earned every bit of praise I've ever given him.
Yeah.
I probably don't praise him enough, even though I do it often. I mean, straight A student. Some of it, you know, naturally gifted, and some of it he's had to work really hard for. To tell you what kind of kid he is, he skipped school one day, you know, which totally blew me away. And but it wasn't to go to the lake or to hang out with his friends. He had a physics project that he couldn't get to work, and it was due. So he skipped school so he could work on his physics project.
Until he got it right.
Until he got it right.
Until he could get it right.
He
Talking
said he
about
wasn't gonna
persevering
crash.
and,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, ladies first. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Owning my own business. I used to have a catering business. I know that to make it in this life, you can't work for somebody else. Mentoring some young people, but not in giving them the sugar-coated version. I want them to see the realness. You know, take them down to the morgue and let them see some of them bodies that come through there. Show them what real job training is. You know, take them to a prison and show them, look, that doesn't have to be your life. Look at me. Look what I've accomplished. You know.
Rob, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Like she said, I'd like to own my own business, and I don't pretend that it's going to happen, you know, tonight or tomorrow. It's going to take some work and some steps, and you gotta crawl before you can walk. You know, before you can run that marathon. You know, and something that I read before is that you know, trying at something, you might not succeed. You know, you might actually fail. But if you quit, you're guaranteed to fail.
Right. I like that.